Stop thinking. Start doing. Daniel was not lazy. That was the strange part. Everyone around him thought he was lazy, but inside his mind, Daniel was always busy. His thoughts never stopped. Ideas, plans, dreams, worries, fears, and hopes moved in his head like loud traffic on a busy road. He thought about changing his life every single day. He thought about success. He thought about failure. He thought about what people would say. He thought about what could go wrong. But thinking was all he did. Every morning, Daniel woke up with the same routine. He picked up his phone, scrolled through videos, watched other people living exciting lives, and told himself, "One day, that will be me." Then he got out of bed, did what was necessary, and returned to his safe, familiar world. Nothing changed. Daniel was 26 years old. He had dreams that were older than his job, older than his routines, older than his fears. When he was younger, he dreamed of creating something meaningful. He wanted to build a life that felt alive, not just comfortable. But year after year, those dreams stayed inside his head. He always said, "I'm thinking about it. Thinking about starting a business. Thinking about learning English properly. Thinking about getting in shape. Thinking about speaking confidently. Thinking about changing his life." But thinking never became doing. At night, when the world was quiet, Daniel felt the weight of his thoughts the most. He would lie in bed, staring at the ceiling, asking himself the same question again and again. Why am I not moving? He had answers, of course. He always had answers. I'm not ready yet. I need more information. I'll start next month. I need the perfect plan. What if I fail? These thoughts felt logical. They felt safe. They felt responsible. But deep inside, Daniel knew the truth. These thoughts were not protecting him. They were trapping him. One evening, something small happened that changed everything. Daniel was on his way home when he saw an old man sitting alone on a bench in the park. The man looked peaceful, watching the sunset as if he had nowhere else to be. Daniel sat down on the other side of the bench, scrolling on his phone as usual. After a few minutes, the old man spoke. "You look tired," he said. Daniel smiled politely. "Just a long day." The old man nodded. "No," he said softly. "Not that kind of tired." Daniel looked up, surprised. "You look like someone who carries too many thoughts," the man continued. "Thoughts can be heavier than work." Daniel didn't know why, but something about those words stayed with him. They started talking. About simple things at first. The weather. The park. Life. Then the old man asked a question that felt uncomfortable. "What do you want to do with your life?" Daniel laughed nervously. "That's a big question." The old man smiled. "Big questions are the ones worth answering." Daniel hesitated, then spoke honestly for the first time in a long while. He talked about his dreams, his ideas, and his fears. He talked about how much he thought and how little he acted. When he finished, the old man was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "Let me tell you something I learned too late." Daniel listened carefully. "Thinking feels like progress," the old man said. "But it is not. Thinking is preparation. Action is life." Those words hit Daniel harder than he expected. The old man continued, "I spent most of my life thinking. Thinking about starting. Thinking about changing. Thinking about what others would say. One day, I realized I had thought myself into a corner." Daniel swallowed. "You know what I regret the most?" the man asked. "Not my failures. I regret the things I never tried." That night, Daniel couldn't sleep. The old man's words repeated in his mind, "Action is life." For the first time, Daniel asked himself a different question. Not "what if I fail?" but "what if I never start?" The next morning, something was different. Daniel woke up and reached for his phone. Then he stopped. His hand froze in the air. He remembered the sunset, the bench, the words. He put the phone down. It was a small action, but it was an action. That day, Daniel decided to do one thing he had been thinking about for years. He opened his laptop and searched for an English learning course. Not the perfect one, just one. He signed up immediately, before his fear had time to speak. His heart was beating fast. His mind screamed, "Wait, research more. Think about it." But for once, Daniel ignored his thoughts. He started. The first days were uncomfortable. Learning English felt hard. Speaking felt embarrassing. He made mistakes. His pronunciation was not perfect. His grammar was not perfect. But something incredible happened. For the first time in years, Daniel felt alive. Each small action gave him energy. Each lesson made him braver. Each mistake taught him something. The fear didn't disappear, but it became smaller, quieter. Daniel realized something important. Action didn't remove fear. Action replaced fear. Weeks passed. Daniel continued learning. He practiced speaking alone in his room, then with online partners, then with strangers. Every step felt scary, but every step made him stronger. One day, Daniel noticed something surprising. His thoughts had changed. He was no longer asking, "What if I fail?" He was asking, "What's the next step?" Thinking was no longer stopping him. It was supporting him. Inspired, Daniel applied the same rule to other areas of his life. He started exercising. Not perfectly, just regularly. He started working on his ideas. Not big projects, just small actions. He started speaking up. Not confidently, just honestly. Life didn't become easy, but it became real. Months later, Daniel returned to the park. The same bench, the same sunset. The old man wasn't there, but Daniel smiled anyway. He understood now. Life doesn't change when you think more. Life changes when you move. Thinking creates comfort. Action creates confidence. Thinking keeps you safe. Action makes you grow. Daniel was still thinking, but he was no longer stuck inside his mind. He was living. And maybe, as you listen to this story, you recognize yourself in Daniel. Maybe you are not lazy. Maybe you are not weak. Maybe you are just thinking too much. So don't wait for motivation to arrive. Motivation comes after you move, not before. Don't wait to feel confident. Confidence is built while doing, not while thinking. The world does not reward ideas kept in the mind. It rewards steps taken in fear. Start small. Start scared. Start imperfect. But start. Because one small action today is more powerful than 1,000 perfect plans tomorrow. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are standing at the beginning. And the moment you take action, life starts opening doors you could never think your way into.